What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on this beautiful little slip joint right here. That's right. You guys can tell right off the bat, this is, of course, a Jack Wolf Knives slip joint. And this is the only slip joint I have in the collection, but it is awesome. I absolutely love this knife. Going to give a little bit of a backstory of how I picked it up and where I picked it up. But yeah, get right into it without further ado. This is the Venom Jack, and guys, this thing is just gorgeous. I love it. Ergonomics are just on point. Aesthetics are fantastic. Just a wicked blade. This is the only Jack Wolf I've ever purchased. I've handled two, the low drag Jack and this one, both at the store that I bought this from. And so I don't have a whole lot of experience, with the whole line of Jack Wolfs, like Kevin over at Left EDC and Casey over at Knives Fast, and those type of guys that get one from every drop. I don't have experience with all those before, or like everyone else does, but I can tell you right now that this thing is fantastic. Right off the bat, if you guys are, hopefully you guys can't hear the ducks or geese in the background. I guess before I get into the video, hopefully you guys can hear and see this okay. I am in my car right now. It's a beautiful day here in northwestern Pennsylvania, but it's a little breezy, so I didn't want to do videos on the side-by-side. I figured I'd get out in my car and do some videos, and we have enough spots on the property that are accessible by car. So I came down here and, parked and set up my camera and stuff like that. But we're right next to a swamp, so hopefully you guys cannot hear that, or if you can hear it, you don't get too annoyed by it. And hopefully they quit, because they're being really loud right now. I think they're just flying overhead. And like I said, hopefully you guys can see everything okay. The last time I did my car reviews, I had it up here on my dash, but I kind of had to prop it up with something, and I didn't really have anything in the car right now. But I do have a little phone mount right here, so I have it mounted on my vent. So it's a little bit weird of an angle, but it works really well, and it actually holds my phone nice. So I'm going to start doing this for maybe maybe I'll do some, car unboxings and stuff like that, just to toss it in. It's pretty easy, and I like, having the secluded time to myself. But yeah, right off the bat, as I was saying, if you guys are on the fence about buying a Jack Wolf, whatever Jack Wolf you think looks cool, you think, looks aesthetically pleasing, buy it, because odds are you are going to like it. They are just so well made, and they're just beautiful pieces of, frankly, art. The walk and talk is fantastic. Awesome. You guys know everything about Jack Wolfs. You have probably watched, if you're watching my channel, you've probably seen a lot of different other reviewers, and you come from, Left EDC and stuff like that. And, you've seen hundreds of videos on Jack Wolf knives so far. So this is nothing new to you guys probably, but if you're a new viewer and you don't really know what a Jack Wolf is, go look it up. I'm going to leave links to the website down below and his Instagram page. Just fantastic. This thing is just beautiful. And I'm not really a slip joint guy, but I get really excited every time I carry this. And I carry it a lot as a secondary. When I carry this, I usually have a primary or a folder on me. But this thing is just awesome. I love carrying it. I love the knife. It's really just fantastic, and I love it. So a little bit backstory of where I got this knife, because you guys have probably not seen this on the channel before. I was going to do kind of a little vlog sort of unboxing style video, but it just didn't really work out super well. I'm going to put my windows up, because that might help with the geese noises. And my radio's going to come on, so we're going to have to open my door. All right, all set now. Yeah, there was, I forget what stopped me from doing it, but I don't know. I was going to try my hand at a vlog, and I ended up scrapping it, and I just never made a, unboxing video of this, because it happened over the time where I went back in February to Vermont with my fiance. You guys have probably heard me talk about it before, but on my way through, or on our way from Erie, PA, which is where my fiance is currently in school. She's almost done, by the way, so congrats, Lauren, if you're watching this. Super proud of you. But we left Erie, and we had about an 8-hour drive to Burlington, Vermont. And about halfway through, we drove right through Syracuse, New York. And there was a knife shop there called Freight and Lock Co. And they are primarily a locksmith service, but they're also a knife shop. So I had this plan for months. I wanted to stop. I wanted to check it out, and a Jack Wolf was on my list, my short list of knives I wanted to buy. I kept checking their site like every other day to see what was in stock, and I kept updating it and seeing in the Venom Jack. They had a Mars Valley fat carbon there for the longest time until like a week and a half before we left for our trip. That's what I was going to snag. But I was mainly looking for this, and I was looking at the low drag Jack. So I handled both of those. I really like the low drag Jack. Something about this specifically fit so well in my hand. So that's why I decided to go with this. But shout out to Freight & Lotco. Hope over there is a fantastic human being. My fiance and I stood there and chatted with her for, it was probably at least an hour or so. She's just a really good human. She, showed me some of her collection. I had a little, actually I had my little Vault Caseco Mini, with 5 knives. I showed her some of my knives that I had with me, and it was just a good time. She had some cool, she collects a lot of Techno 2s with some really cool scales on them. And I also talked to Ed. He also works there in the knife department. Just cool people, a cool place. Something you wouldn't expect. Like I said, they're primarily a locksmith service, but they also have a little knife section. They're slowly growing bigger and bigger. They have done 3 Spyderco exclusives. They've done the Pair 3, the PM2, and the Manix 4 or Manix 5. Manix 4? Why did I say Manix 4? Manix 2? Why am I having a brain fart now? Manix 2. Manix 2, and they're all in marbled carbon and Elmax, and they're really cool. I got to handle one actually that they have on the shelf there. So just a really cool experience. I'm also going to leave a link to Freight & Lotco down below if you guys are interested. Please go check them out. They're also on Instagram. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to them. Hope is the one that mainly runs the Instagram. And she's just a cool person. She's just a genuine awesome person, and I really enjoyed talking to her. I have a picture of my fiance and I, or my fiance took of Hope and I. I'll try to pop it in the video if I can, figure out how to do that. But that's where I picked this up from, and I just wanted to give a little splurge about that, and how I picked it up and whatnot. But let's jump into knife, because you guys are probably like, oh, he's talked for 7.5 minutes and he's barely talked about the knife. So jumping right into materials, these are obviously some beautiful micarta scales in natural micarta with titanium bolsters. You have a gorgeous full hollow ground M390 Wharncliffe blade. This thing is just so thin behind the edge. It really works so well. There is the Jack Wolf logo, if you guys can pick it up with that sunlight, and then M390 right there. There we go. There is no internal milling, but it doesn't really need it. It's a very, pretty lightweight for what it is. You have some fluted, I think they're called flutes right there on the knife. And now I'm getting hot, so we're gonna have to roll the windows down again. So I do apologize. There's no Giso, so we're winning right now. This is quite the sporadic video. You guys are watching this probably like, what the hell is he doing? But if you guys are longtime viewers of my channel, my videos aren't perfect. They're just, I just turn on the camera, talk about the knife, and whatever happens in the video happens in the video. And those, it's either me sweating to death and talking about, being able to hear, or me being able to breathe and talk a little bit more freely. And you guys hear that. So hopefully it doesn't bother you too much, but that's really all for materials, because, its slip joints are pretty basic. They're very simple. Nice nail nick up top there. So yeah, next we're going to talk about the action. But again, with the action, you're not going to talk about, or I'm not going to talk about, a typical folder action. I'm going to talk about walk and talk, and, the pull and the half stop and stuff like that. And you have to take it with a grain of salt. I have not handled too many slip joints in my day. I have had a tactile turn bear in, and I think that's the only one. I do have my SAC Pioneer that you guys have seen a video on if you've caught that one, but that's not really a slip joint. So I don't have too much experience with custom slip joints, or really any slip joints in general, except for the bear and this. So take it with a grain of salt, but I'll try my best to explain how my brain processes it. Gotta crack open a beverage here. This is the new, it's a new Mountain Dew. It's like, what's it called? I have it in a koozie, but now it's gonna bug me. It's a new summer edition that they just come out with. Summer Freeze, I guess that was pretty simple. It's like the red, white, and blue bomb pop. I'm a sucker for trying different, new flavors and new exclusives, I guess you could say. It's pretty good. I like it so far. If you guys have not yet tried the strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, chef's kiss. Love that. So I'm sorry, we're getting sidetracked again, but for Walk and Talk, it's a pretty nice pull. You know, you have some pressure there, but you have so much blade to hold on to. It makes it like the perfect mixture of enough tension and enough blade to hold on to. Like, it's just perfect. You know, you pull it out, you have that half stop there, and then bang, and then half stop, bang. And I know slip joints aren't nearly as fidgety as, folders and, drop shut and everything like that, but I can really get a nice rhythm sometimes of just doing nothing but this. Open, close, open, close. And to me, in its own way, is very, rhythmatic and sort of satisfying. Not sort of satisfying, it is satisfying. And the acoustics, when it bangs open and then close, they also sound very good. I've seen a lot of other people say that this has a pull of like 7 to 8. Again, I can't really attest to that because I've not handled that many other slip joints. But what I can tell you is, from my limited knowledge, the Walk and Talk is very good on this knife. It's very snappy, very, very satisfying, and just, like I said, I could sit here and do this all day long. It just is that satisfying. And, just open, close, open, close. So action on here is fantastic. Really, really good. I can get a little bit of spring pressure with my thumb. If you're one of those type of people that are worried about closing it on yourself, yeah, you can. But you really, that's a nice amount of pressure right there. So you're not really going to be, it's probably, odds are of it happening are slim to none. But I just wanted to point that out to you guys. So action is really, really good. Next up is ergos. And I don't know what I like more about this knife, the ergos or the Walk and Talk, because the ergos are damn good on this knife. It's just the way the handle is shaped. It's pretty flat and pretty straight in through here. And then it sort of tapers a little bit off in the back here. And then down here, it really tapers off. And then it just kind of has a swell in the back. Excuse me. But there's just something about it. It just fits my hand like an absolute glove. I don't want to talk to Siri right now. I can get all 4 fingers on here, a little bit sticking out the back, and I don't feel cramped. It's very, very comfortable. The micarta is really, really high, high quality premium micarta. Has a great feeling to it. Not too soft, but not too textured and dry. It's probably one of the best micartas I've ever felt. The titanium bolsters and flutes feel really, really good. It's blasted in a nice way that gives a nice amount of texture. So when you're holding this, I don't feel like it's going to slip out of my hand at all. This thing is fantastic in a pinch grip. I basically pinch both pivots, use my pointer finger up here for direction, and just the way the blade shape is, this thing goes to town through, opening packages, letters, cutting around labels. It's a very utility-based blade shape, in my opinion. It just has a nice, beautiful drop down. Comes to a nice point. That hollow ground is just so thin behind the edge, and it's a full hollow grind. It's beautiful for cutting. Came with a fantastic edge. It still has a really good edge because I don't cut a whole lot of stuff with it, other than packages. And I have cut a few cardboard boxes with this. It just eats cardboard. So the blade shape and the geometry behind the edge, combined with the ergonomic pleasure that is this knife, just makes this thing a cutting dream. If you guys watch Left EDC, you probably know that the Venom Jack was his 2022 knife of the year, which really surprised me because Kevin, before he got into Jack Wolf's, was not a slip joint guy. And he had a lot of cool folders on his channel over the course of 2022. So for the fact that this was his knife of the year really says a lot about this knife and how well it performs, how well it, it carries, how well the ergonomics are. Like when I think of a perfect slip joint, this is it. And all honesty, I was kind of leaning towards the low drag jack when I went into Freight and Lock to look at stuff. Just because it was the newer knife at the time, and it was the first one to come out with S90V, and I really like kind of the bulbous blade shape. And it's, it's really, really good. If I had the money to buy two at the time, I probably would have bought both of them because it's really, really good too. And if I ever get around to buying another slip joint and wanting to add another one to the collection, that's probably the next one I'll buy. Or the Midnight Jack that was 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 models ago. It has like the coffin shaped handle. That thing is awesome too. I really like that. But just the combination of everything about this knife, like I said, blade geometry, cutting, specifically the ergos that we're still talking about, it just melts into your hand and it really wants to go to work, and it wants to just eat cardboard, eat whatever you're putting through it, and still keep on kicking. And it's just a great, great ergonomic experience. It really is a pleasure. There's no hot spots. Of course, you have no clip to worry about. Just everything about it is fantastic. So I think kind of rambled a lot with the ergo department, but it is what it is. So I'm going to move on, but you guys know ergos are fantastic. So next up is Carry. And this is a slip joint, so you don't have a pocket clip. Of course, it's kind of a stupid statement. And I carry it in the slip that it came with. I've grown to like this a decent amount. I like it, but I also do want a Northwood Leatherworks Co. Slip. But Troy has had his books kind of be closed for a while, and he's done a few like 10 book spots here and there, but I can never get on them. I just never get on Instagram at the time, or I'm working when they go live. Eventually I'm going to get one of his slips, but for this being the slip that it comes with, I do like it. I've carried it enough to where the leather has kind of softened up and, grown kind of supplely. So I really don't have any gripes with it. I do like how it kind of hides the whole knife. Now I know Troy, designs his to have a little bit of the knife sticking out, which is fine. I like how they look too, and that's what I'll ultimately decide to go with. But for now, I'm pretty much, A-okay with using the clip or the stock slip. That's another nice thing that they come with a slip. They come with a microfiber, a POG, there's one other thing in there. I can't think of it. But they all come with like a different character, and it's like an unboxing experience, and it's really cool. It comes in a tube, and the artwork is done by a Marvel artist that works on Marvel Cinematic Universe characters and stuff like that. So it's really cool too. It really is. There's a whole experience, but to get a slip is really nice. I don't know the maker. I'm assuming the company or the factory that makes the actual knives themselves, which we still don't know who they are. He's keeping that under wraps for now, which I don't blame him. But it carries great in here. I carry this every single time in my front left pocket of my jeans. I love tossing it in there. I've carried it in shorts a few times. Carries great there. This is going to be an awesome summer carry. Back when I had my Bear, I loved carrying it last year in shorts. Just tossing it in there. It's lightweight. I really like just the overall. I like the slip. Slip life, I guess. There's just something cool and exciting about whenever I go to carry this and toss it in my pocket. I'm like, man, I'm carrying my Jack Wolf. I got a slip in my pocket. Like, I got a cool slip joint in there, and I don't know, just something cool about it. So, not really too much to talk about, but it is, nice and lightweight. Of course, you're going to take up more pocket space with the overall, size and whatnot of the sheath, but it is what it slip, but it is what it is. It's nothing too major. And once you get used to carrying it, it's really like you can't even feel it's there. I will say sometimes I do carry it in my gym shorts, just around the house, or if I did carry it out in public one day in my gym shorts, but sometimes instead of carrying it like this or staying like this, it'll move like this in my pocket, and it kind of like sticks out a little bit, which I don't like, but that's just the way my gym shorts kind of have adapted to carrying it, I guess. but it's really nice. I love carrying it in a slip, and no complaints at all there. So finally, that brings me to my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. If you guys can't tell by now, I would absolutely recommend this knife and any other Jack Wolf that is, out there. I think he came out with, I can't even name them all, but of course there's this, the Venom Jack, there's the Low Drag Jack, the Javelina Jack, the Little Bro Jack, the Big Bro Jack, the Laid Back Jack, the Midnight Jack, the Vampire Jack, the Cyborg Jack, and there might be one or two others that I can't think of, but he's done quite a few models so far, and I can't wait to see what he comes out with, later in 2023. I think the Big Bro was, no, the Big Bro? I don't know, I forget what the last drop was, but they had one in Nebula Fat Carbon, which is really cool and really beautiful, but I held off on that. But long story short, go pick one up if you're interested. You will not be disappointed. Fantastic build quality, fantastic materials, fantastic unboxing experience with everything you get in it, like I said. This one was $270, I think. I think the micartas typically go for like $270 or $280, and then the fat carbons and the carbon fibers and stuff usually go for $300. So you're typically, $270 to $300. I think it's worth it. It's a lot of money for a knife in a slip joint, but just the build quality was so fantastic. And you're getting modern materials with a traditional design. And I think Ben over at Jack Wolf, Ben Belkins is just really killing it. I didn't even talk about this, but I think in the beginning he took a while for him to get the company off, because he always had, he'd go to blade shows and he'd have like a prototype or two, or he'd have like these renders, and it took a while for him to sort of get everything set up and for everything to start clicking for him. But man, once he got his models rolling out and people saw how good the quality was, he has been killing it. So, and I've never really communicated too much with Ben. I think we've DM'd a few times on Instagram, but he seems like a really cool dude, a really genuine dude. He's been on Kevin's live streams before. So I'm really happy for him and all the success that he's had so far. And, you're supporting people like that when you buy products like that. So I can't recommend it more. I'm super glad I have it in the collection, and I never plan on selling it. I really want this to be in my collection forever. And slip joints are kind of like, all knives are in retrospect, but slip joints more so are kind of like, they're your classic grandpa and great grandpa knives, and they're more of like an heirloom, and sort of like a, more of a collector's piece, I guess. But, more and more folding knives and stuff like that are starting to get like that too. But there's just something about carrying a classic slip joint, and this is, in my opinion, easily, if not the best, one of the best on the market that you can get. Just fantastic, beautiful aesthetics, beautiful cutting, beautiful ergos, just everything about it is chef's kiss, phenomenal. I don't know if you can find these in stock anymore. That's only, I guess, downside to Jack Wolf, is you kind of have to jump on one of the drops, or either the drop itself or a few days after, because they kind of trickle down. But once they're sold out, they're sold out. You can't just get on a website and buy them, which you guys, that's how the knife world works. But like I said, I will leave a link to Jack Wolf's website down below, as well as their Instagram, if I remember to do so. Please go check them out. Please go see what their past models are, and if you are really intrigued by one, maybe you can hunt one down on a Facebook group or a Reddit group or something like that. But you will not be disappointed. I know I've already said it a few times, but they really are that good, and I'm so glad I have this in the collection. So I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was a little bit longer of a video because I chatted a bit about how I got the knife, and had some car stuff, and it was just one of those videos, so I do apologize for it being longer, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna wrap it up now, but thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening, morning, night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.